room has seen in many weeks, so thank you for being here. It will hopefully not get too hot. The ACs are running at full blast. Sorry, we tend to be slightly more informal here, so just bear with us and indulge us. I'm Venkat, I'm part of the team at the archives at NCBS, and all of us are here. Those of us in the team, you could just raise your hands so that people know whom to complain to. All right, cool, thank you. And it's our privilege and honor to have you all here for this launch of the Leslie Coleman papers. We're absolutely delighted that these papers found their way here, and like I keep saying, every archival object, it's a miracle that it even survives, and it's even bigger a miracle that it makes it into an archive with a fancy ID and whatnot, and for all of you to have a look at it. So, to the custodians of archival material, thank you for what you do. To Professor Mallik and to Shyamal, thanks for thinking of us and placing trust in this place. And for many of you who are considering this place, I hope we are worthy of your trust. That's all I have to say for now. But I would like to also request Mr. Narendran, whom we had the we had the fortune of meeting this morning. If you like, whether you like it or not, we're going to bug you with all sorts of questions in the coming weeks and months. Turns out is quite the resource to understand the material that we've just received, which is kind of the kind of thing we hope for. You in the audience are the experts. You will know things that we don't as archivists. So help us take this collection forward. The fact that it enters an archive is the beginning of the archive. It's not the end of the archive. It's when it can start to survive and live as you go forward. So, Mr. Narendran.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Mallik, Shyamal, team NCBS, Rohit, and all my friends. Rohit is from Honeysuckle Estate, Chikkamangaluru. His forefathers were very close with Leslie Coleman's family. My great-grandfather was the Deputy Director of Princely State of my agriculture, Department of Agriculture, Princely State of Mysore. He was in the Agriculture Department in 1893 to 1929. 1908, Leslie Coleman joined, so he worked with, my great-grandfather worked with Dr. Rodolph Lehman as well. I happen to possess with me many records of those times, and I got a sample of it today. One of them is a publication I sourced from the University of Berkeley, a publication on experiments on paddy cultivation, authored by Leslie Coleman and my great-grandfather, T.G. Ramchandra, who was at then the manager of the Hebbal farm. So I have great pleasure to hand over. I hereby reiterate that I have many other records, which one is very precious, I'm sure, is the voice of Leslie Coleman, which I am going to hand over to NCBS in a couple of days. So this is Venkat, the photographs. I also have the digitized version. I have great pleasure to hand over. Thanks for accepting it. I'm sure it's in safe hands.
No, thanks so much. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. This is an honor for me. This is the first time this has ever happened in my life. I was feel like somebody. So anyway, thank you so much. And we're not done yet because we have a deed of gift to sign for this.
Yeah.
So exactly. Sorry, we are very bureaucratic that way.
Yeah.
But we have to get it done. But we also do it because we are a public archive. All our papers are on the web. You can see we try and be as transparent as we can about our methods.
Thanks for this opportunity for me, and I have given 2 radio talks on this. I would like to pass on where there is a lot of material on this. This I have given as part of the centenary of the Naganhalli farm at Mysore.
Fantastic, yeah, we look forward to it. So thanks everyone again. Just a couple of housekeeping notes for those of you who are new to the campus. The closest washrooms and bathrooms are 1 floor up. We've done whatever we can to remove water from this basement. So if you want to go, one of us can help you direct it. And that's also where the closest water fountains are. And I think those are the only 2 things I have to say to now. And I will, it's my honor to introduce Shyamal first. No, you're not. Okay. So it's my honor to introduce Professor Mallik, who's really been the heart and soul behind helping us think about this collection, and we are not done yet either, so we will keep hounding you for more material.
No, that will do, because I don't think I deserve so much of this one. I'll just tell what it is.
So,
okay, please go ahead.
So he'll give you a snapshot of some of the collections.
Yeah.
You know, it's obviously not comprehensive, but the whole collection is available online. So you can have a look at it and tell us what you think. So, Professor Mallik, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Venkatesh. Thank you, Anjali. Thank you, and several of you. Well, I'm Mallik. I was working in GKK as a professor of entomology. I retired about 10 years back. And during my tenure, it so happened Dr. Leslie Coleman's daughter, last daughter, came here out of interest to find out what her father had done. And then sometime in 2014, we started this Leslie Coleman lectures, because we are all highly indebted to Coleman because he started the Department of Agriculture, and in that he started the Department of Entomology, to which I belong, which is already about now nearly some 125 years old or so. So then we started, keep his memory alive. Now we are organizing every year on this day, June 16th, which is his birthday, Coleman lectures. Today also we invite, for the benefit of our students, we invite one very good worker either in entomology or pathology, and this has been going on. And for the first lecture, we had requested Anne to come down. She came and she just made a passing remark that she would be visiting some of the places where her father worked. Then I just asked her, which is this? We were taught about one or two things. And when I thought it's something new I have not heard, so I should start looking for this. Then when I got some literature, I just told them, well, I would like to write something about Coleman. And unfortunately, by that time, Anne had expired. And her husband, one fine day, sent all the material, which was very unexpected. I had never expected that that would happen. It landed in my house. Then I was just wondering what to do, because as you will see, I'm only interested in what Coleman did for agriculture, but here there is material, something of varied nature. When Shamal told me about Venkat, I requested him, and he was so interested. He came down right to my house, then we would like to have it. And that's when it was a revelation for me that whatever material is there, only those who are interested in agriculture will not be interested in this. Okay? There are several other layers for this which may interest several other people. Okay? Now I think if I keep talking like this, I will just go out of the way. So I'll right away start with this. So as Venkat was telling and Narendra was telling just now, Coleman came here in 1908. He reported for duty on 7th January 1908. And it was because his earlier there was one Dr. Lehman who started the Hebbal farm. Okay, he came to Mysore. He was appointed by the then Regent Queen and Sheshadri Iyer and all, took interest to improve agriculture. In 1899, he came here as an agriculture chemist. So he had to do a lot of work. So his major interest was analyzing the soil, because the most important thing in agriculture is maintaining the soil health. So he was analyzing soil, and because he was the agriculture chemist with lot of knowledge, several things used to come. Even the geology department people who had them, they attached him under him. So he had to guide them. And even if we look at that, it was so interesting. He had to go about analyzing the ores from our KGF. So like this, he had a lot of work. Then one day he just mentioned to the government, you see, this is one part, but the plants are affected by a lot of pests and diseases, which I am unable to handle. So government accepted this one. He went around searching for that. Many people didn't agree, because what they would get from Mysore government was a pittance. Fortunately, Coleman in New York Lehman met Coleman in New York, and Coleman accepted it. In fact, sometimes I just wonder, why did at all Coleman accept? It was our, Mysore people fortune that a person like Coleman accepted and came down here. That is one part of the story. So once he came here in 1908, he started working. There was one very important reason also for him, because if we go back, the Mysore Representative Assembly, I think it was little, the pressure was built up by the Areca farmers, because naturally even now or any day, Areca farmers are one of the most prosperous farmers. They must have built up from pressure telling our Areca crop is suffering from so much and this, so we want an expert. So the moment Coleman came down here, he started working on Areca. Areca is affected by one particular disease, what is called as cholera. The bunches get affected and they drop off, and that's what. So once Coleman came, he started working on this. There's one particular photo. In fact, what I'll do is, I'll just show some of these photos, because all these are online, and again, there are 1,400 articles, out of which maybe just about 2% of them I'm just using to give an idea what all are here. Okay, so when I saw this closely, I was thrilled to see one thing, that is, before all this chemical spray and other things came, the traditional way was covering the Areca bunches with the Areca spathe. So that's what we see if we very closely. Probably first time when Coleman went, he must have taken what exactly was being done during those days, and you can see very closely, if you observe closely, that type of thing. So this is the Areca thing which he started. What he did was, he introduced the Bordeaux mixture. Bordeaux mixture, Lehman had already brought it here, used it on a few crops, but Coleman introduced. And there was one very important thing. What was it? Okay, you can bring some solution to spray, but where are the sprayers? During those days, we didn't have sprayers. So Coleman had to import the sprayers and then teach people to do the spraying, and the government itself used to do the spraying and all. So there is over the years, it went up to about 15,000 acres, 20,000 acres being sprayed taken care by Coleman and his team. Okay, so like this, and for this, the government was collecting cess from Areca. It was what was called as supari cess. Okay, and all the spraying operations and other things were all met out of the cess funds, supari cess that was collected by this. Okay, then that is one aspect. Okay, then it was very effective. There are a few other things also. In fact, I don't have photos of that. I'm using only those photos which are available in the archives for today, this one. And similarly, there was one grasshopper that was in the dryland area. Fortunately, that particular grasshopper has been named after him as Colemania spinneroides, and he organized control measures for that. So when these went on very well, government was convinced about his ability. Then it came forward telling, okay, we'll start a new department. Okay, so a new department, the Department of Agriculture, was started in 1913, and Coleman was the first director. Okay, that's the most important thing. And as a director, one of the first thing he did was, even after 1908, because when he came in 1908, it was only Dr. Coleman, Dr. Lehman, Dr. Ignanarayan Iyer, Dr. H.V. Krishnaya, and one B. Venkatrao. Only these people were there. So immediately Coleman started recruiting people like Kunikanan and M.K. Venkatrao and all this. He started building the department. And we have one photo. This is a group photo in front of the department. And probably during those days, there was one, like it happens in the government, the Economic Affairs Committee, like that, must have been there. This is a meeting of that, and it has got very important people, and I believe someone has told this one, that this particular lady whom we see here is Mrs. Sakama. Okay, I'll have to again verify this, because I have now forgotten the source of this information for me. All of you who are familiar with Bangalore will be knowing who is Sakama, because when I was a young boy here, there used to be Sakama Coffee Works. She is a very well-known personality, and I think there was one article about her in the Deccan Herald also some time back. Okay, very interesting to read about her. Okay, So that is, and the department was built very well. And one very important thing is the present agriculture department, or for that matter, agriculture departments anywhere, they are usually, engaged with activities like directly talking to the farmers and sort of arranging for seeds, fertilizers, etc. and all, but not with research. But when Coleman came, when he realized that nothing is known about the pests, diseases, etc. and all, he started research. Okay, so that is the most important thing. Okay, so the department was associated with a lot of research, and it started conducting research. And there are photographs of sugarcane fields where different varieties have been tried. The labels you can see. So he used to get varieties from the Coimbatore Research Institute, and the red varieties that we see, red Mauritius, it was imported, everything was tried, and HM 370 or so was new variety was released, and it became popular. So like this, they started breeding for crops, and similarly, they also came out with ragi varieties. You can see one plot here of ragi variety, a farmer standing. Okay, and one particular variety, H22, became so very important, well known, and it started replacing the old research varieties and all. Okay. That is regarding this one. Okay, and this is regarding introduction of varieties, introduction of manures, introduction of this one. And another thing what he did was, there is a very, very interesting photo. Okay. In fact, I should also, if I know someone here, maybe I'll take the opportunity to liberty to introduce him. Professor Gubaya, he was my very, very senior. He works in Mandya VC farm, which was started by Coleman. And he has interviewed a few people there who had contacted with this one, and he's so enthusiastic. At this age, he has come down from Mandya to see this one. So, okay, so Mysore plow, it will be interesting for you. You see, you see, during those days, farmers were using the conventional plow, which was just made of wooden plow. So when Lehman also started on this work, so when Coleman came, he modified this plow. This is what he designed as the Mysore plow. Okay, there were two or three different type of plows. Especially one is Kolar mission plow. Again, you could have seen the difference between fully wooden and this iron plow. Okay, so Kolar mission plow. So what Coleman did was, he felt Kolar mission plow is little heavy. So it requires, because when we say heavy and all, depending on the type of soil, the type of plows have to be changed. So for this lighter soil, he felt that is too heavy. So he designed one Mysore plow. And there are records that, in fact, my friend Gubaya was telling, it seems he had met one particular person who was having a workshop, who used to tell, Coleman Sahib iಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡು ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ಇದನ್ನ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಅಂತ. He has a story to tell like that. Okay, and in the records it is there that our Bhadravati Steel and Iron this Limited was also fabricating this plow. Okay, so that's how he used to bring about the improvements in the implements, and he started introducing the other implements. Especially, this is a very, very important photo of a tractor, probably the first tractor that was introduced here in Mandya. And if you see this carefully, and if you see the present day tractors, you can just make out the vast difference. Okay, this tractor still has the iron wheels. Okay, the present day tractors will have all the regular rubber wheels. Okay, so like this, what happens out of this, so many things if we see, like Anjali was telling this morning, you can start thinking about what was the type of implements, etc., and the people who were there will get a different. It's not just about agriculture. There are several things that we can come to know about. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ವಾ? ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, so next I will go to the other important thing that he did, that is starting of the agriculture school in Hebron. Okay, again this particular photo is maybe I will hold it like this. Okay, this particular photo, if you see today, if you go there, you just can't make out, because there's a Hebron flyover and you just don't know where's the old road, and when you are going over the flyover, you will also miss the Hebron tank. Okay, when you are coming from Makery Circle, as you reach the flyover, to the left is Hebron farm, and there Lehman started that farm, and in that, because when Coleman came, that farm was also already there, so he had already a place to start a school. And when he proposed to the government sometime in 1910 or so, he tells the government that we should start a school. Before that, there is a record that Diwan P.N. Krishnamurti had made this one statement, that agriculture education is very important, we should not neglect that one, and we should pay attention to that. Okay, there's a record about that one, and they accepted, and Coleman went about formulating the syllabus. To formulate the syllabus, he went around several countries to study what type and what they are doing, and all that record is available. And then the school was started here, okay, in 1913, same year when he became the Department of Agriculture Director. Okay, and this is also a part of the farm. Okay, and okay. Yeah, he was the first principal. This probably is the first or the second batch of students. During those days when they started, it was only for 2 years, okay, and only SLC pass, like that, everyone. And Coleman was very insistent that the children of agriculturists should be admitted. So like that, a lot of interesting things happened, and this is the Coleman, and here we can see okay. So when we come to this aspect of his ability to build institutions like schools, then the other is research stations. In fact, he started research station in Hiriyur, okay, sometime in 1927 or so it starts, okay, and similarly in Naganelli he started a research station. And then the most important thing was he, because only he was though he was a director of agriculture, the European planters and all knew that apart from him there is no one else to solve their problems. So gradually he started involving himself in solving the problems of the coffee planters. And once when he realized that okay, a research station is required, he started the Balehunnu research station, which is a very important one. Okay, so here's one photograph of Balehunnu research station being inaugurated. The then Maharaja Nalvali Krishnaraj Vadeyar can also be seen, who went and inaugurated the station. And maybe because his father, in fact, that maybe around about 12.5 or 17 acres of land was donated for starting the station by one Colonel Crawford. Okay, and his father was, when I was talking to him, he told, we are also a part of that adjoining, because our estate and all were earlier belonging to Trafford. So like this, there are several things like this. One, why I just wanted to mention about this Crawford and other things are, you know, during those days, people were so generous. When something like this came up, people used to come forward and say, we will also donate, why don't you come? In fact, when I was mentioning about the school, I should also mention, once the school started, and it was functioning very well, there were several others who came forward and told, why don't you start a school in our place, in our place, in our place, like that. Like that, one person was one Mr. Ugregowda, okay, from near Sira Chikkanalli. There's a place, he had a house and a little land, and he came and he told Coleman, why don't you come? Coleman went there, expressed, and he agreed to start this school, and the agriculture school was started there. And in fact, there's a small plaque also where our prince going and inaugurating this school, like that. And similarly, there was another gentleman, a pleader by name Ram Krishnaya, from Bangalore, okay, who gave off nearly about 112 acres of his land in Anekal. Okay, that land is still there. Now it is occupied by the agriculture department to start a school. So like this, and another person came forward to start a school in Hassan. So like this, Coleman's influence was very vast. People used to come with all this. So similarly, Crawford also would agree to donate land for him to start the school. Today, it is one of the best research station, coffee research station, Balehonu Central Coffee Research Institute. It's a very well-known institute for coffee, because during those days we didn't have, and this is how it looked in the beginning. Okay, coffee research station, how it was. Okay.
Sir, if I may add,
yeah, please.
You were mentioning that those days all these people were very generous.
Yeah.
You must have heard that the Maharani of Mysore bequeathed her jewels to construct the KRS dam at those days. Yeah. Leslie Coleman gave his personal guarantee and his collateral for getting a loan for construction of the Mysore Sugar Company.
Yeah.
That should be recorded. You must be knowing.
Yeah. That was my next subject.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So after construction of the schools, research stations, Coleman is known for one very important thing. Even today, Mandya people revere him for starting the Mandya sugar factory. Okay. So, sir, you and Salpa, idanna. Okay, so this is your Mandya sugar factory. Okay, again ನಿಮಗೆ ಇವಾಗ ಈ ಫೋಟೋ ಸಿಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸುತ್ತಲೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮನೆಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಆಗಿನ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ತೆಗೆದಿದ್ದ ಫೋಟೋ ಇದು. Okay, so he started the Mandya sugar factory. There are some very interesting things, like Narendra told. You see what happened, it seems after the KRS dam was built, the Mandya area came under irrigation. The old system of cultivation of dryland crops were all discontinued. Mainly it was paddy and sugarcane. Paddy fine, but if sugarcane was grown, where or who are going to lift it for sugar? This one. So Coleman went to the Maharaja and told, we have to start this sugar factory. But they were apprehensive. Will it be profitable? Because to establish it is so costly like that. So when Coleman felt probably they are not trusting my this one, in the sense my confidence, he told, I am so confident, and if you feel so, I am ready to forego my insurance, retirement benefits. Okay, I am forego my. To that extent, I can, sort of assure you that this will be certainly a profitable venture. So that's how we ensured, and we have some photos. In fact, these are probably I'll just show. Maybe it gets mixed up with others sometime when it comes up, because we have the entire machinery being set up in the factory during those Mandya sugar mill and all. We have some photographs of that also. When it comes up, I will just show that. So, and another important thing that he did, rather a novel idea for those days, was, one, no problem, ಇದು ಒಂಥರ informal.
ಸರ್ ಅವರು ಶುಗರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಐಡಿಯಾ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ರಾಗಿ ಭತ್ತ ಬೆಳೆದ್ರೆ ಉದ್ಧಾರ ಆಗೋಲ್ಲ, ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಆವಾಗ ನಾನು ರೈತರನ್ನು ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಆ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಈ ಕಬ್ಬು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ, ಈ ಕಬ್ಬು ಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಇವನ್ಯಾರ ತುಂಬ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗಲಾಟೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ವಿನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಶುಗರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಆಶ್ಚರ್ಯ ಅಂತಂದರೆ 600 ಎಕರೆ ಶುಗರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿ ಏರಿಯಾ ಇತ್ತು. 6,000 ಎಕರೆ, 6,000 ಎಕರೆ. ಏನು ಕಾರಣ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಾಳೆ ರೈತರು ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಶುಗರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿ 6 ತಿಂಗಳು ನಡೀಬೇಕು, ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಸಫಿಷಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಇದು ನಾನು ರೈತರನ್ನ ಕಾಂಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ನಾನು ದೇಶಮೂರ್ತಿ ಅವರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ದೀಪಾವಳಿ ಸಂಚಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಬರೀತೆ ಅದನ್ನ, ಅದರೊಳಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರೆದಾಗ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ.
ಆಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಕೇಶಮೂರ್ತಿನ
ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರು ಕೇಶಮೂರ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಅವ್ರು ರೈತರು.
ಸರ್, ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ರೀಸನ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಾಟ್ sort of encouraged Coleman to establish the sugar factory was, normally the recovery rate of sugarcane is less than 7 in other areas. You get it is used only for jaggery. But this recovery rate was very high. 9 gitta crystals agate sugar. So adrinda sugarcane was grown there. That is why we will get higher recovery crystals, better crystals of sugar if I established anta. Quality was also one of the things of sugarcane, was also one of the issues in his mind.
In fact, somewhere there's a record that the type of sugarcane, the variety that is grown here, has a better recovery percentage than anywhere in the yellow. I think Lehman himself has recorded this concept. In fact, incidentally, Lehman worked as soon as he came, when he started seeing the conventional way of preparing jaggery, he brought in this milling machine with iron rollers. Adu one bere story. Adu illalla illde irodrinda na adanna
he comes from the Gottingen University labs. Our lab alli Leslie Coleman was one of the researchers. So when the then Maharaja wanted a replacement for Lehman because he was superannuating, it was Adolf Raymond who suggested this researcher from in Gottingen University to be appointed as consultant first, and 1907 only, 8 or 9 only he was appointed as the director.
Okay, I got this particular photo. There is all this machinery that are being set up for starting the Mandya farm, all imported from England and set up in Mandya. Okay. Okay. So Mandya. Okay. Now,
just for those of you who are sitting there, if you log into the Zoom session, you can actually see some of the slides. Good view. On your email, you have received one link also.
Okay. Thank you. Another important novel idea he came out with was starting what is called as a Mysore Agricultural and Experimental Union. Why? Well, we can just start anything and we'll have a limited this one. But his idea was to make the farmers also members of this union, which was very unique, because what he wanted was whatever new technologies and other things are found by the scientists and the others in the department should be immediately disseminated. So he used to have regular meetings of this where the farmers were also involved. Nowadays we call it as farmer participatory programs. We have a very nice word. During those days those things were not there, but he gave an opportunity for any ordinary person to become a member of that, and he started a journal, and he used to send free that journal both in English and Kannada to all the members. Okay, and regular meetings he used to hold. So these are the types of meetings that he used to hold, and everything. For example, you can see here, very interesting, the farmers are all viewing the sheep, etc. and all. Okay, 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 really, okay. You see this, and one more thing. You see, fortunately for us, what has happened, quite a few things are labeled by him. So it becomes very easy for us to associate this. Some of them are there without any this one. With our knowledge, we are trying to build the history of those particular things. So starting of this Mysore Agriculture and Experimental Union was a very, very important thing, where all used to get an opportunity to directly discuss, interact with the scientists and with the director, anyone. Okay, regular meetings he used to hold. Okay, and similarly, you know, his reputation in India, it was not restricted to India. He had a very good reputation all over the country, and he was a very well respected person in other meetings, because whenever he used to attend the meetings of the imperial agriculture, this one and all, his opinion was highly respected. And then he arranged for the Board of Agriculture meeting in Karnataka, in Mysore during those days. So Mysore had the distinction of hosting the Board of Agriculture in India meeting once also. Maybe that is there, this one, somewhere it, when I get that one, I will meet that. Okay, then this is, you know, when he did all this concerning agriculture, what I have told, the government was convinced that, okay, it's not just that he is a scientist, he is a very able administrator. Then what he decided, this was something of a revelation for us also, because we were just talking of coffee, then areca, etc. and all. But what government decided was, okay, there are a few other departments which are ailing, so let us transfer all of them. One of them was the civil veterinary department. Okay, so how is Coleman, a mycologist and entomologist, concerned with civil veterinary department? But his administrative capability was so much that the government handed over the administration of civil veterinary department to them. He brought in lot of this one, and one of them was there used to be a special, separate dairy for serving the palace, maybe others, called in Ryan Kare, called this Mysore Palace Dairy, and this is the photograph of that dairy. Okay, and where these are the cattle. This one, this is the photograph of that. This was in Ryan Kare, and he brought in one Wilfred Davison, who was in 1918 he appointed him. He took care of this, and once this was brought, this one, then they started thinking of breeding cattle, breeding sheep, etc. In fact, the first one which I showed, there are already there were this merino sheep being brought. In fact, during those days in Bangalore, in Gottigere used to be in news for all the other reasons. I think the nice road or the flyover or something was supposed to go. So the Gottigere lake, this used to be there. There's I think it was somewhere near Bannerghatta, Gottigere. There used to be one sheep farm which was very badly managed. So Coleman had to shut down that one, because the caretaker, the person who was taking care of the sheep farm, was a very corrupt person like that. So he shifted that, and he started a new sheep farm near Mysore in Elchihalli. Okay, so like this one. So, and similarly, what he did was, another important this one was, the Amrit Mahal department was also transferred to Coleman. What is Amrit Mahal department? We have a breed what is called as Amrit Mahal. We have several other things, but this historically is very, very important because these were used by, there are records that Hyder Ali and others used to use this particular breed, equivalent, something like, apart from the elephants, the horses, these cattle was very important to shift cannons and heavy instrument during war times. So that's how strong they. Then how were these being maintained? There used to be something like 7,000 cattle for that one, under this Amrit Mahal department. How were they? So we have several. Maybe there was something like 20 or 22 Amrit Mahal covels. It used to be a huge grazing ground. Covering about 500, 600 acres like that. So what people were doing is, in each place there used to be what are called as surveyors who used to just take this cattle for grazing and bring them back. But the thing is, it used to be so crude that if you want a good this one, you just don't know what that entire herd contains. So what Coleman did when it came under him, he invited one imperial expert called Smith, who came here. He went around, he gave a report to the government telling this way of ranching, this one is useless, you will have to cull out the good ones, then start breeding. And that's how in near Ajampura, Parvatarayan Kere, he started a cattle breeding farm. Okay, which is
4 scientists na US ke kalistru to make a study tour. 2 months they toured. Adadmele they made Yagnanarayan Iyer, who was his deputy, to write books. And this became the course material for agricultural school. It became the standard textbook in agriculture college when it was started on dairy farming, veterinary science and all that. Those books are still the reference book for just like for us, Puri and Sharma or anything which is Bible, like Ren and Martin said. It is Ren and Martin for them.
Even our student like it's a Bible.
Bible.
So
Yagnanarayan Iyer is the person who gave us, their family who gave us all the photographs which I handed over.
There is one particular photo of this cattle breeding station. Okay, I believe this is from Ajampura. Ajampura station still exists, but probably not in the same shape as it was started, because it is separate.
Yes. So just it's found at the corners.
Yeah. Thank you. Take care of it. Okay. I think sheep breeding farm, cattle breeding. Okay. And apart from this, even the sericulture department was handed over to him. There's a big set of photographs. This is the sericulture department office in Mysore. Okay, and there is a sericulture. You can just just support like that. Okay, then the sericulture department staff were, and there is a very interesting photograph of this Chenpatna farm. Okay, earlier when we were going along the old road to Mysore, we used to pass through this sericulture, this one. Now we are using the new expressway, we miss all this. Okay, so like this, there is a set of this one, and in fact this contains all this one. During those days, what was the method that was followed, and there's a set of very nice set of photographs. So what is important is Coleman's ability was recognized so much that it was not confined only to agriculture. So even other departments were all transferred under his control. That's the best thing that the government did. Okay. Now coming to the other aspect, like we have some photographs, of his, this one. Probably one of his best, this one was, quite a few must have heard about one family, the Morris family in Viligiri Rangan Hills. Okay, so he used to probably go there quite often, spend time with them, and there are several photographs, lot of them with Morris family, and this is one set. Yes, please tell me.
Colonel Crawford on the right side.
Oh, this.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are a lot of this, and this is the regular hunting trips, and we also have, this is another very interesting photo, Marikanive, that is the Hiriyur Vanivila Sagar Dam. Okay, so there's a photograph of that. So like this, there are several this one, and incidentally in this place in Morris, one of his estates, Coleman's first wife has been buried there, and there's a memorial also about which it's available. Okay, then there are photographs of the place where he was residing in Bangalore. Yeah, if we can, yeah. This is 7 Aliaskar Road. I do not know whether this still exists, because it's quite possible one of these people would have taken this and demolished and built one of those high-rise buildings. So this is one of the places where he was residing. Okay, and very interesting photographs around that house. One thing, when we look at him, he was a very, very rational person. Okay, and it was not like we expect some of these who are very reserved and all. Probably he just used to, in fact there are some photographs where there are snake charmers in front of his house. So like this, I think he was not telling, hey, don't come near me. I think he never used to do that one. There are a lot.
Connie Aya with name.
Yeah. No, in fact, a lot of them. We see a lot of the other persons, the Malis, the servants, the peons, the cook, everyone, tending to his children, etc. Very nice photographs. These are something about his personal life. Okay, yeah. There's a photograph of one of his peons getting married, like this. Okay. This photograph is of Faye Coleman. Okay, he married again in sometime in 1918. She was a French artist, right, Shamal? Yeah, American. He met her in Paris or something like that. Okay, that's the thing. And she appears in quite a few photographs later. In fact,
she's Anne's mother.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, in fact, we have not been able to get photographs of Mary MacDonald. Okay.
You are a 3D.
Very good. If it comes to this color.
Morris and the family.
Our
If I see that collection, I'll tell you.
yeah, certainly. Okay.
Digitized, sir. They have digitized from.
Yeah, ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ but original ಇದ್ರೆ better.
No, that Anne gave me like
ಹೌದಾ?
digital forms.
Yeah. And these are the children, Louisa and Charles. Okay, Anne was born after Coleman went back. Okay, and these are Phoebe's children. Okay, they were here in Bangalore. Okay.
It's called Leslie Charles.
Leslie Charles. Yeah.
I think he became a geologist and he passed away just 2-3 years ago.
Yeah. He was the last in that family to after Anne. Okay. So this is what I have to tell about his life till 1934. Now, it is such an amazing thing that this gentleman had. Why did he come? I'm still trying to find an answer for him. Maybe he just felt, he had just graduated when Lehman met him. He must have just thought, let me see what East is like or something like that. But once he came here, he must have got fascinated. He mixed with people and he didn't have any reservations and he stayed here. In fact, why he returned back also, it was because his health was, he somehow used to have a regular bout of dysentery. And in fact, there's a record that he has even gone and got himself admitted in Calcutta of those days, for getting treatment from one of the doctors there. And that actually made him to return back to Canada. That was in 1934. Then, 20 years later, he decides to come back. And in 1953, sometime in November or so, he comes here on his own, paying for his own fare, and he comes here. And once he comes here, when the government comes to know that he has come, then the government says, no, he will be our state guest. So that's how he treats, our government treated him, and they put him in a good guest house, gave him all the facilities, fine. Then what about the others? People used to come and every day asking him to come over to his place, wherever this one, and he had to attend to a lot of these meetings all over the place. So like that, he almost stayed here till March 1954. Okay, and when he came here, there are a set of very interesting photographs. And in fact, on his arrival in the airport, he was heaped with garlands. And in fact, there are a set of letters which he used to write back to his people, although in 1954, where he says, they showed me these garlands which came up to my ears. Okay, so like that, Coleman himself describes this one, and we see quite a few of this one. One of them is K.H. Srinivas. I was mentioning about Ms. Sakama. He is related to her, who took over. In fact, during those days, he was the director, and later on he gave it up and he went and started taking Sakama's estates and all. So like that, we still have to identify. I think Mr. Egnanarayan Iyer is also here, okay, whom he was mentioning. So we still have to identify. I think some of them are from the government officers. I'm not very sure. I just have to check, because this gentleman may be one, I'm not very sure exactly. One, Mr. Malaradhya, because I think he was concerned with the corporation or something like that. It's quite possible. Okay, so one request is, when you go through online and you can access all this, if you can identify the persons, please inform the archives people here. So that's one reason which helps them to say, okay, this person is so, this person is so, like that. Okay, so there's a big set of these photographs. And one thing which I will show you here is, you see, the interest he had. He goes to the department where he was working, and he sits with the microscope. When one M.J. Narasimhan says, "Sir, I have found out this one," he wants to examine that one. Sits with the microscope, examines that one. That is the enthusiasm or interest he had in his work. Okay, still he works. So, and even when he visits here, he writes, "Oh, I'm up at 6:30, they come and take me away at 7 o'clock, so I have to get ready, and then sometimes I come here, come back only at 11 o'clock, like that." So he was a very hard-working gentleman. And yeah, okay, fine.
We need to.
You see?
Should I go?
Oh, yeah. Then, no, I have come to the end.
Yeah.
Almost. There is only one photograph I just want to show them. Okay? Yeah, there's a very interesting. One thing got mixed up somewhere. ಗುಬ್ಬಾಯ್ ಅವರೇ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಫೋಟೋಗ್ರಾಫ್ ನಾನು ಹುಡುಕ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲೊಟ್ಟಾಯ್ತು? No, it was, I did locate it somewhere, maybe it has got mixed up somewhere. Okay, I'll just mention. In fact, there's a very nice photograph where he is addressing Anjali, did you check out that photograph of Mandya meeting?
Where there's a Kannada banner on top.
Kannada
India
banner.
Mahas and
Yeah, I think it's
It's there? Okay, okay, let us not. I think Shamal is telling it's the time. Okay, so he went all over the place and he got a very good reception in Mandya. In fact, there is one photograph where so many people gathering with the banner in Kannada, Mandya Janara, Mahajanara, idonta ಒಂದು ಫೋಟೋಗ್ರಾಫ್ ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಸುಸ್ವಾಗತ ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಬ್ಯಾನರ್ ಇರೋದು ವೆರಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಪೀಪಲ್ surrounding that one. So that's how important he was. And to end this one, I have to show this one. And wherever he went, he used to be presented with this.
If you don't mind.
She wants to.
It's just a little delicate.
Yeah. It's very no. Yeah.
It's a silk scroll.
Yeah. Wherever he used to go, he used to be presented by the people like this. We have quite a few from of this.
It's got a song
This is
in-
one of the best
It's
ones.
It's got lyrics of his poem and
Yeah. ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸ ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಫೋಟೋ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನು ಓದಿ ತುಂಬ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ ಇದು ಚನ್ನಪಟ್ಟಣ ರೇಷ್ಮೆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಚನ್ನಪಟ್ಟಣದವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು
ರೇಷ್ಮೆ.
ಅದೇ ಥರನೇ ಮಂಡ್ಯದು ಒಂದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಸುಮಾರಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಇದು ಒಂದನ್ನು ನಾವು ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಈ ಥರದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಸುಮಾರಿದೆ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಮೂರು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆನೂ there are a lot of such stories that we can go about telling. I will end with one thing, how much and like there are some very interesting things. This particular thing, if you see, can I open this? Certainly. No. I in fact respect her concern because now they are so very valuable. Now when I am just talking, if I just take it out like this, it is certainly going to spoil. Let her handle this one.
Thank you for it.
This is the greetings sent to Coleman from the Maharaja. In fact, what is very interesting, maybe some of you historians may be knowing this, okay? ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಅದಲ್ಲ ಇದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟು
Yes.
ಇದು
This-
ಓಕೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಯಾ
So it looks like a hologram on the front, but it's actually a silk interweave of red and green, very fine silk interweave on the front.
Okay.
It's on the front. there's
Yeah.
logo.
That one,
No.
that has got KRW, Krishna Raja Vadayar.
Here.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. Okay. Maybe this was being sent to several officials, very important people of those days. But for us, we have got an opportunity to see that. That's how we get a lot of information from these collections. Very interesting. I think I have got tired and I will close now. Okay?
So you can please have a seat. Please have a seat.
Yeah, thank you. You want to add anything? And yeah, there are lot of other photographs. Like I was telling, I have taken out only this one because he used to be invited for this Dasara photographs, the procession in 1928. Those photographs are there, and in fact, during the Dasara exhibition, the Department of Agriculture used to organize exhibitions there. That's that used to be the place because a lot of people used to visit. These people used to take interest, something like what we now organize Krishi Melas. They used to organize so that people visiting the place will also learn about especially the farmers. So like this, we have several other photographs. One of them, and Shamal, you were telling someone is interested in that particular photograph. There's one photograph of a bridge in Srirangpatnam. I think that bridge is now destroyed. Only the, yeah. Huh?
We have lines are
No, not this Wesley Bridge and all. Beyond that one, because now only the stone masonry structures are remaining. The arc, it is like an arc. Very interesting photograph. I will not be able to make out where they are because I have not made a note of the number of that one. But when you people just browse through all this
all of this is available online.
Yeah, all of them are available on net. I have used only 2% of the photographs there. So very interesting material is there. In fact, first time when Venkat came, that's what he told. Sir, one part of this is this related to agriculture. But there are several other things about which we will get some information.
Anjali, would you like to say about how things are stored and technology? No, because some of them may have material to, you can give them information.
Yeah, I mean, you want a tour of the store
I
space?
don't know if everyone would like.
Okay. Whoever wants to have a tour of the store space, we can show you how we store
So it's
our-
climate controlled and all this is stored in the proper temperature.
So, 2 more people have come, five people for the next